Beautiful day today. Beautiful Wednesday, right? Um, just came off the air. I was inside though. I said, you know something, I got to go outside. I really wanted to do a coffee with Cannon show today early this morning, but um, there was too many people around my house and there was no privacy back by the pool, and I wanted to do it back by the pool because it's such a beautiful, outrageously gorgeous day today. So here I am, and again, I just did a show inside, in the inside studio at, I believe I started the show at 1:15, and some new information, of course, came up on the Brian Koberger show, which we really haven't been doing much coverage on of late because there hasn't really been any new information. And at the same time, this Gilgo Beach case, Rex Heuermann case, is just off the charts. So much information, so much interest on that case. And you know, every case that hits the national news, it's real popular for a while, and then of course it'll always slows down a little bit. And right now, with the Rex Heuermann case, the Gilgo Beach case, they finished searching the house. So, legal-minded friends, yes, Karen, I saw your message, and I will get back to you after the show. Thank you so much for doing what you do as a mod, and I wouldn't second guess you. But thank you for showing up today also. So again, like, just beautiful, beautiful day. So I wanted to be out here. I wanted to do a coffee with Cannon, and backyard beverage bitching with Bill, coffee cuffs and crime with Cannon, you know, whatever you want to call it. But some of you must, because I've been on the air a lot lately, maybe you're sick of me, so you don't have to come by today. But I enjoy this. I'm sitting by my pool talking to you guys, and today there's no other place I'd want to be, right? So here I am in the backyard. So yes, the Gilgo case is, they finished the search on the house. And what they came up with, I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands of items. They talked about how cluttered the house was. And, you know, by cluttered, I don't know what I've been in houses that they had hoarders, where you had to walk through paths. No sound. How's the pool? The sound must be okay because no one said anything. It must be on your end. Anyone have any problem with hearing me? I thought I fixed that the other day. I bought a new microphone. Poker 26, it's a steam bath. Guys, if my sound's okay, just put a 1 in the chat. Someone just said there's no sound. I don't know how there could be no sound. It sounds good, sounds good. Okay, good. I don't know, maybe someone didn't have their own sound turned up. So, yeah, I just got this new microphone. And you know what cures everything with a computer or with a cell phone? Turn your damn phone on and off and all the problems go away. Same thing with your computer. Turn it off and then boot it back up, and all of a sudden, Richard Resendez, I'm doing well. So again, the Haley, good to see you, Haley. I did a show today at 1:15 in regards to Brian Koberger case. The defense had to put forth their defense strategy if they were going to go with an alibi defense, and they indicated that they are. But one of the two areas, and I spoke about this in depth, and we played some good video from Law and Crime. We played some good video from CC Moore. Two areas they're going to attack, of course. They're going to try to come out with an alibi for. Thank you, Richard. Poker 26, keeping cool with Cannon. That's a good show too. Keeping cool. You know, I've been going to the gym every single day, and I've been trying to do more like cardio. So I've been trying to do at least 45 minutes. And today I did 45 minutes, in addition to lifting weights, not heavy weights. I can't lift heavy anymore because injuries all over the place. Anyway, So then yesterday I did 45 minutes on the spin bike, and that's a tough workout, the spin bike, you know. When you get used to it, it's nothing, but I used to take spin classes, haven't in a while. Have I seen the Dr. Catherine Ramsland live chat lesson? I didn't, but I played some of her previous interviews. And she's, I like her stuff. She's brilliant, you know, and yeah, it's a good, Michael, good workout, good cardio. Kathleen Ramsland, yeah, she's all on top of this serial killer stuff. She really knows her stuff. And you know something, guys, that's got to be such a difficult area. Pablo Cicada, try the rowing machine. I'll try everything. I try it all. You know, we had Dr. Joni Johnson on, and she's a forensic psychologist, and she interviews these guys in prison. And she's this little petite thing, and I'm just like, that must be a tough job, you know? Talk about bringing your job home with you. That's got to be really, really difficult to interview, you know, rapists, serial killers, just twisted people. What does that do to the professional's psyche? Like Dr. Joni Johnson, she's a forensic psychologist. What does interviewing these sickos do to your psychology? Does it gotta bother you? I would think, you know, over accumulation of it, and probably very similar to PTSD. Interviewing these nutcases, you know, and I know I'm using politically. Richard Vicente is keeping shape, Bill, doing good, keeping the heart pumping. Absolutely, keeping in shape. I actually recently just lost 11 pounds too, and I do the Canon diet. It's called no pasta, no bread, no potatoes. It's a modified Atkins. I can't do the strict Atkins. It's too much. You can't have anything on that diet. So all I do, I don't have pasta, bread, or potatoes, and you lose weight. And of course, I cut down on my wine, which I did anyway. My wine, I can't even say this. I had to cut down to 4 glasses a week in wine. I used to have 4 glasses a sitting, you know, or drink a whole bottle. Now I can't do that anymore. So 4 glasses. So I try to spread it out, you know. Or if you're going out to dinner or something, you have to have a glass of wine, you know. So I'll try to save it for those special occasions. Legal-minded friends Karen was trying to figure out how Dr. Joni Johnson defined serial killers to see if it matched the definition of Kathleen Ramsland. Well, you know what it is? There's a definition of what is a serial killer that is from the FBI. And to be a serial killer, you have to kill 2 separate incidents with time in between, 2 or more, and that makes you a serial killer. If you kill multiple people at one time, that makes you a mass killer, as is Brian Kohberger. Accused killer Brian Kohberger is considered a mass killer if in fact he gets convicted of killing the 4 Idaho students, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, Zana Knodel, and Kaylee Gonsalves. If he gets convicted of that, then he would be considered a mass killer. Actually, you don't have to have a glass of wine, MK. Look, if you don't like alcohol, you don't want to drink, that's fine. But I like to have a drink here and there, and I do it in moderation. You're right, you probably would be better off in this world, health-wise and every other way, that if you didn't drink alcohol at all. You probably would, but I'm not on that list. You know, there's people in this world who never had a drink in their entire life, and yay, that's probably better for them, you know? They're probably better. MK, Brian was on his way to serial killing if he hadn't been caught. MK, I totally agree with you. I think you're 100% correct. I think he has all of the psychological characteristics. I think he's got the signs of an organized serial killer. Forest, Ontario, Jeannie Nash. Ontario. Ontario. Wow, that must be beautiful up there, you know. Kool-Aid, Richard Resendez, yes. You know, when you do a show like this, and we have people coming in from 2 MKs on a live chat. When you see people coming in from all over the world, it's really humbling, you know, because there's people that are listening to this show, and they're on all corners of the globe. I find that humbling, you know. There's people been in the chat from Australia. I'm sure it is. Jeannie Nash says it's lovely in Ontario. I'm sure it's beautiful. People from Australia, from South Africa, from Ireland, from England, you know, across the pond. And it's so great that someone is in their world, but they're brought into your world through, you know, the internet, YouTube. Pretty amazing, right? Lou's back. Lou was at my earlier show. Lou, good to see you, buddy. You know, I usually don't come on twice in one day, and I never did like a regular show. I shouldn't say never. I don't recall the last time I did. A Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage Edition with Bill. I usually don't do that in a regular show, and if I do this, I'll do the show later on at night. But it was such a beautiful day today, and I had sort of set my mind. Thank you, Robbie. Bill, you have a calming voice. Sergeant D.A. Tierney was asked about DNA in CODIS in Ohio. We have always taken DNA swabs on arrested felons, not convicted DNA sent to CODIS. Well, you know, according to District Attorney Danny Tierney, CODIS will not accept DNA unless it's from a convicted offender. And you know, and I feel like I always go over this. There's 2 categories of DNA in CODIS. One is the convicted offender DNA, and part B is the forensic DNA. And forensic DNA is DNA from a crime scene. So that means an unidentified DNA that's unidentified. Thank you for your coverage and guests on list. I didn't keep up. You know, guys, tomorrow night, and I know I was a little bit the boy who cried wolf on this, but last week I was supposed to have Bobby Chacon, great FBI agent, had an amazing career. Actually, a Hofstra University, which was where I grew up on Long Island, near Hofstra University. He was a law degree from Hofstra University. Both his dad and his brother were NYPD sergeants. And Bobby Chacon was supposed to come on my show last week to talk about, you know, the Gilgo, the Lisk, L.I. Long Island serial killer. And he had some emergency here and he didn't show up, and I wound up going solo. But he's supposed to be coming on the show tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6. Because I know he's visiting his brother in Florida, his brother who's a retired NYPD sergeant. He's visiting him in Florida, and he asked me to come on at that hour, like he wanted it to be earlier so he doesn't kill his whole night because he's visiting his brother. And I said, I readily agreed. Bobby's a wealth of experience. I believe he went through the FBI behavioral analysis school. So basically, he has the skills necessary to be a profiler. He knows a lot about serial killers. He's done all kinds of investigations. He actually was in charge of the FBI scuba team, so the underwater crime scene team and the underwater search team. He was in charge of it in his time on, I think he was a supervisory agent. But he's been all over the world. He's unbelievable. And Lucy Bell, you're on a roll this week. I'm looking forward to more of your work with Lisk. Thank you so much, Lucy. Lucy Ball. I'm not related to Lucille, huh? You took a fine time to leave me, Lucille. 4 hungry children and a crop in the fields. I've had some bad times, been through some sad times. This time the hurting won't heal. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. The old Kenny Rogers tune. I started out too high. I should have started out much lower pitch, because it got too high real fast, you know. So, Lucille, Yeah. Lucille's sort of a name from the past, right? You don't see people naming their kids Lucille anymore, right? That's a sort of an older type name, right? Um, Pretty name, but I'm just saying you don't see it as much anymore, Lucille. I guess it could be short for Lucy, right? MK, so much better than TV coverage. They don't go as in depth. Everybody out of the DNA pool and Taylor's dream. Yeah. Well, with the Brian Koberger case, guys, and if you watched the earlier show, they're looking to attack the DNA, specifically the DNA on the button of the knife sheath. And if we all followed the Koberger case, we remember that DNA was compared to Brian Koberger's father's DNA, which they identified through going through their garbage at the Pennsylvania home. So that was identified that way. MK, I'll get to that in one section. Why aren't they searching the brother in South Carolina? I'm sure they are. But you know something? The brother, the law enforcement can't just, first of all, if they're going to search his land in South Carolina, they need a search warrant, which I believe they obtained. I think they did. But they can't just go messing with the brother because they want to look into his background. They need reasonable suspicion, probable cause to arrest him. And if they want to do a background check on him, look into him, see if he's totally legit. Sure, they could do that, but they just can't go down there and start questioning him. If the FBI or Suffolk County Police go down to South Carolina and start questioning Rex Heuermann's brother, he can just say, "I don't want to talk to you. I, in fact, invoke my right to counsel and stop bothering me. I do not want to talk to you." I don't know, someone just said something about their other account. I don't know what they were saying, but sometimes the chat goes by so quick, and then I try to read it, and I didn't take the Evelyn Wood speed readers course, so it goes by so quickly. Michael Yes 56 at Michael Yes 56. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but it's sort of in the chat. Anyway, so tomorrow night, Bobby Chacon, retired FBI agent, is going to be on the show. And a fan favorite, I know you guys love him, Mike Geary. Professor Mike Geary is going to be on too. And it's funny, Mike Geary is a professor, a law degree, and but almost every time I ask him to come on, he's, yeah, I'm available, I'll come on. And I always kid them that Father Mike, yes, Colleen, Father Mike. I always kid him. I say, "Mike, you have no life." Because every time I ask you to come on the show, you say, yeah, I'll come on. Very rarely does he turn me down. The only time he's like he ever turns me down is if he's got some family event. But Stephanie Rice, hello from Texas. Let's go to Luckenbach, Texas, with Waylon and Willie and the boys. This successful life we're living got us feuding like the Hatfields and McCoys. Between Hank Williams' pain songs and Lou Barry's train songs and Blue Eyes crying in the rain, out in Luckenbach, Texas, ain't nobody feeling no pain. Waylon Jennings. The other day I was in the car with my wife, and I have Spotify, and I just put Waylon Jennings in Spotify, and this unbelievable country western, just probably like 30 or 40 songs in a row came on, and I was like, that was amazing. I couldn't have searched and it wasn't just Waylon, it was all different artists. George Jones, that song he has, I gotta learn it because it's just, it's sad, but at the same time it's funny to me, the words, and it was not meant to be funny, but it's that one, if drinking don't kill me, her memory will. And it paints such a sad picture in the words, if drinking don't kill me, her memory will. With the blood from my body, I could start my own still. And if drinking don't kill me, her memory will. Unbelievable, right? Legal-minded friends, you're going to meet up with your friend to have coffee, but it was too far away, time-consuming to drive there. Always meet with your friends. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Come on, you guys know where that came from, right? It became almost cliche after a while, that little Italianism, you know? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, you know? I love that. You know, Phil and I were in Florida one day, and we were doing a short video, just like a minute video. And for some reason, near the end of the video, I said to Philly, I go, the guy who approaches you and wants to arrange a meeting, he's the traitor. Martha Miner, hi Bill, Justin, you're so funny with the George Jones songs. Will you ever hear the He Stopped Loving Her Today of George Jones? And a typical country western song, the reason he stopped loving her was because he died. And you don't find that out in the song till the song's at least halfway through. And it's like one of those country tear-jerking songs. He stopped loving her today, and she put a wreath upon his grave, you know, yeah. The one he loved that wasn't loving him back, now he's dead, and now he can stop loving her, you know. But Robbie, yeah, road trip with Bill would be so fun. you know, you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, I drove back from Florida by myself, like a big boy, you know. And going down there, I drove with my son, and it took us 19 hours. And he did 12 out of the 19 hours. He drove for 12 out of the 19 hours. When I drove back, I was by myself. So it took me like 22 hours, and that was because of traffic. Got ridiculous near Washington, D.C., and near the Jersey Turnpike. That was ridiculous. But I drove, you know, over 2 days. I didn't go straight without sleeping. But that, you're like numb. When you spend that much time in a car, George Jones and the Godfather, Stand By Your Man, Tammy Wynette. Yes, Tammy Wynette. Stand by your man, whap, whap, whap. Can you sing Whiskey Lullaby, Colleen? I'm not sure that I know that one, you know. I'll have to learn some of these country western tunes. I love the Chris Christopherson song. It's also like an alcoholic song about drinking, you know. I woke up Sunday morning with no way to move my head that didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. I walked into the closet for my clothes and grabbed my cleanest dirty shirt. I washed my face and combed my hair. I stumbled down the stairs to greet the day. I smoked my brains the night before with cigarettes and songs that I've been picking. As I lit the first, I watched a small kid cussing at a can that he was kicking. Then I hurried up the street and smelled the Sunday smell of someone frying chicken. And it took me back to some place that I lost somehow, somewhere along the way. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, Lord, wishing I was stoned. Oh, there's something in a Sunday makes your body feel at home. And there's nothing more than dying. Are you on Long Island? DM from Copeg, Troubled Champions. I grew up on Long Island, guys. I now don't live in Long Island. I grew up in, you know something, Lou Lemoracco, my engineer, and Josh is supposed to be designing those, the police off-the-cuff caps. I want one too, badly. I've been asking for years, but for some reason, when you order them from these online companies, they're ridiculously priced, and the design, you have to design it, and it takes a while. Let me just put it that way. I've been asking Josh to do this for probably the better part of a year, maybe more than that, and there always seems to be there's an excuse why we can't get caps. I'll let you know, and I'm going to stay on top of Josh, and he has a bunch of designs, and Robert P. He delivered that song to Johnny Cash by helicopter. Yeah, I read that story about Chris Christopherson, and I saw in the chat, yes, Chris Christopherson was a Rhodes Scholar. Brilliant, brilliant guy, you know, and great songwriter, you know, great songwriter. He wrote, I bet you he must have made millions and millions of dollars off of Me and Bobby McGee. And not everyone realizes, everyone thinks, oh, that's Janis Joplin's tune, or that's, no. Chris Christopherson wrote that. And the writer forever gets paid, you know. You want to get paid, write a great song, you know. That song must have, you know, they have the thing called ASCAP. You guys are familiar with that. I don't know how it works these days with all these different music sites, but whenever a song is played on the radio, the artist gets paid. I don't know how much, but just think if, say, you're Billy Joel, and what's a big Billy Joel tune? Just the Way You Are, anything like that. Or how about even a better example, Van Morrison, Brown Eyed Girl. Think of how many times a day the song Brown Eyed Girl plays, and times that by thousands and thousands of radio stations. How much per day do you think Van Morrison makes off the song Brown Eyed Girl? I don't know. I have no idea, but it's got to be significant, right? It's got to be playing on all kinds of radio stations across the country, across the world, you know. Same thing with any hit songwriter, you know. Look at Bob Dylan. Robbie, I work in the music biz, Bill. Artists get 8% of the plays. When you say 8%, what do you mean? If a song plays on the radio, how does that 8% translate to the artist? I don't know. That's why I'm asking. How do they get compensated for their songs? You know, a lot of them think they don't get compensated enough, and you know, it's like everyone's using their music, and they wrote the songs and they don't get enough for them. Look, think of all the great songs that Bob Dylan wrote, All Along the Watchtower. Everyone that hears that song thinks, oh, Jimi Hendrix wrote that. No, he did not write that. Bob Dylan wrote that song, you know. Mechanical royalties from the song once it's aired. Right, so Robbie, so all radio stations have to keep playlists, right? And I guess from those playlists, it goes to the central ASCAP or whatever, and they determine how much the artist gets paid, probably depending on what time of day or night the song is played. I don't know what the parameters are, but yeah, right, Robbie, ASCAP collects from the radio stations, and then it's disseminated out to the artist, right? Complicated, but you know, now I wonder how it works with Spotify and other music sharing sites when the artist isn't becoming aware of his music being used by these sites. I don't know how exactly that works, and I think a lot of artists get PO'd. You guys see the controversy with Jason Aldean? He wrote some song about you know, a small town and don't protest in a small town, and the country music station took the song down or something, and then some other country artists protested against the country music station. I don't have the whole story, but and then some sort of progressive artists protested against Jason Aldean. You know, like, I thought you guys are supposed to be for freedom of speech, only if you agree with the speech. I guess that's what it is. You know, especially artists. Aren't you supposed to? Art's supposed to be free form, and a songwriter can write about what he likes. You know. Think of some of these rap tunes. How come no one protests against them? Outward violence, outward sex, outward, you know. Someone put something legal about songs, the fair use of music. Lula Morocco, good to see you. Thanks for showing up at both shows today. True police off the cuff fan, Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitching with Bill, Coffee Crimes, Cuffs and Cannon. So many names, so many names. 121 people in the chat. Not bad for doing a show earlier. 67 with the thumbs up. Folks, let's get some more thumbs up, and then, we'll grow this station, We'll grow this, and we'll play some more songs. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world. Lou, thank you so much for the $20 super sticker. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Love that little meme there. And the whole world is on your case. I can offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When evening shadows and the stars appear, and there's no one there to hide your tears, I could hold you for 1,000,000 years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I knew it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. You know there's nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea, on the highway of regrets. The winds are changing, flowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. Bob Dylan, guys. I know you think that's, who's the famous English singer? She made it semi-famous. But that's another Bob Dylan tune from a long, long time ago. Miranda, thank you. All these tunes, man. I mean, so many artists do them, Susie Bluesky, you've been busy the last couple of days. Yeah, I like being busy. I love doing this show. Colleen, Bill Duty Run told Father Mike he was cute without his glasses. Still laughing about it. Adele, that's right. Adele made that song pretty famous, right? That was a pretty song, right? Bob Dylan wrote some really pretty tunes. That's one of them, Yeah, it's Father Mike, Father Geary. He's a great guy. I met Mike Geary not from the police department. I met him when I was teaching at a college. We were both professors at the same college, and that's how I met Mike. And then he was saying, even saying "Happy Birthday" can get demonetization. Yeah, you got to be careful on even these shows we do. Getting copyrighted. In fact, my opening of my show, the intro, my son Jake made that for me, It wasn't free either. I paid to have Jake make that little intro for me. Originally, the music he used, we got hit with a copyright. I couldn't even use it. So we had to strip the music from it and get an individual recording artist to just write something for us. And that's what you hear on the intro now is a recording artist put his own music on it, and then we own it. We bought it from him. And so yeah, you got to be careful. Copyright music, something. I got to be careful even singing these songs. They could do it, Robert P. Yeah, Jake did a great job. In fact, I'm trying to get him to do a new one, and not to get rid of the old one, but in addition to, like, I can alternate them. And I want him to do an new outro. So when the show ends, you have an outro. Now we have the off-the-cuff song comes on, and that's the outro to the show. I like to do something a little bit different. But anyway, guys, let's get back to the Gilgo case. So here they closed up the crime scene. The house is closed up. At some point, I guess, when the police are finished with the house, Lucy, on the go, I hope you don't have to stop singing. Oh, I want to talk about what this show is. Police off the cuff, true crime, real crime. So once the police released the house back to the family, Mary Gold, yeah, Jake did do a fantastic job. Yeah, well, he's a professional editor. So yeah, and I told him, I said, Jake, even though you do TV commercials, I said at least 5 million people have watched your video on the intro, because I have over 5 million views, I think, in totality. And I said, so over 5 million people have seen the video you made for me. So Sinead O'Connor, oh my God, she's always had some problems, you know. She had a beautiful, beautiful voice. Wow, too bad. I know in the last few years she's been suffering, and she always struggled, I think, with her mental health. You know, it's a shame. Miranda writes, yeah, well, okay, so the police are done with with Rex Heuermann's house. So his wife, his daughter, and his son. Will they move back in the house? Or will they choose to sell the house? Because they didn't ask for this notoriety, right? They didn't ask for their father to become a serial killer and bring all this negative attention on them. You know, we discussed on the show, did they know anything about what he was doing? And most people say no. Lucy on the go, oh my God, she's a beautiful voice. I don't think she ever recovered from her son's death. Yeah, that's a horrible thing to recover from. Sinead O'Connor. She had a lot of issues in the last few years. I remember she went on Saturday Night Live. She had some issues. She said something against the Pope, and, you know. Thomas Jordan, good to see you, buddy. All things that really, when you think about it in the grand analysis of life, don't mean shit, you know. But now she's not alive anymore. So that means something, right? Bill, sounds like the house got pretty torn up in the search for evidence, didn't it? I would not doubt that. Yes, the police don't have a dainty touch when they do search warrants. They tear through shit. They rip drawers out. They may potentially, you know, ripped open walls. Look downstairs, he had that big safe with all his guns in it. I would like to know, you know, were they given the combination to that? It must have had a lock on it. Well, how did they get into the safe? Did they break into the safe? Those are some of the questions we don't know. My big thing that I want to know in regards to the crime scene is, A, what type of evidence did they recover? When we saw a couple of days ago that they were packaging evidence in brown paper bags, we thought to ourselves, they must have biological evidence, forensic evidence that they need to preserve, because that's why you would put it. Rosemary Time, is state responsible to do repairs? I think basically what you would have to do is sue the police department for damages. And because when police departments wreck things in the name of the law, a lot of times they will do paperwork saying, in NYPD, the report was called an accident report, police involved. So if you boomed open a door, you actually would do a report called an aided card, which made no sense, but you would do it so that the city was made aware that you boomed a door open. And there's lots of reasons to boom a door. If someone, I was told one time, or a couple times, the person in this apartment just took pills. They intended to commit suicide. So I boomed the door. I got emergency service. They broke the door open. And sure enough, we saved the girl's life. She had taken an overdose of sleeping pills. So it was a good call, you know. If I remember, all the cops were trying to talk me out of doing it. Sarge, you know, I can't see her. I don't know. She's not there. You know. Well, she's not answering because she's probably unconscious. So I had emergency service boom the door, and all the cops saw that the girl was unconscious. And they were like, wow, good call, Sarge. Yeah, good call, you know. Well, you got to use your common sense, you know. And so for a reason like that, if you boom the door, you wreck the door. I remember one time we got a call that this woman was missing for 2 days. and she worked at a beauty salon. And all of her friends were at the door, and I was a patrol sergeant. And all of her friends were at the door, and they said, listen, Sarge, she's never like this. We talked to her all the time. This was pre-cell phones. I forget, it was maybe 1992, 93. And they said, this is not like her. So I said, all right. I called the emergency service, and I said, we're going to knock the door. We're going to, you know, it's not like knock. They have this hydraulic tool that separates the door and basically breaks the lock. So I called for emergency service, and the owner of the building was there. He goes, who's going to pay for this? I said, the city will pay for it. And then I walked inside, and the woman was dead. She was murdered. And I came out very somberly, and I just said to her friends, we found her, she's in there. And they sort of caught the drift from the way I spoke that things were bad, that she was dead. And then I had to tell them. And then we, of course, got the squad there, and they made a crime scene. And it was the first time her, I'm not going to go into how her body looked, but there was part of it was missing because the cat ate it. I'll just tell you that. And I was like, how the hell did, you know, I never saw that before, but I was early on as a sergeant. And I remember they solved, the 2-4 squad solved that case pretty fast, because the idiot that killed her used her phone like a dope, you know. But hey, good, that's why they're called perps, because they do dumb, stupid things. The idiot used her phone, and he was rather easy to capture, you know. During the time when she was killed, he used her phone. So crazy, right? So that's what happened, you know. And so, yeah, to get back to the question, does the police entity? Yes, I think that you actually do have to sue them, and they're supposed to pay for the damages they do. Robbie, I couldn't do that job. I get looking at a medium cooked steak. Well, yeah, you need a strong constitution. Bill, that has to be a tough thing to do, to let a family know that their loved one has gone. Frank Marsh, absolutely it is. It's one of the worst things, that a homicide. Yes, a Maui, someone just told us that Sinead O'Connor passed away. Prayers for Sinead, beautiful, beautiful voice. Probably troubled life, a little bit of a troubled life, but prayers for Sinead O'Connor, you know. So, yeah, getting back to the Lucy on the go, that's one reason I won't get a cat. That's a good reason. Cats are, you know, everyone who says dogs are loyal. Dogs are loyal as hell. Cats, you know, first of all, I'm prejudiced against cats because I'm allergic to cats. So everything I say about cats has to be taken with a grain of cat, all right? I can't breathe if I'm around a cat. I get asthma from a cat. I used to, even when I'd have to go into apartments where there was a DOA, or I had to go into a domestic violence incident, I could tell it was a cat before I entered the threshold. I'd be like, oh man, why do they have to have a damn cat, you know? Maui, you love cats. Look, that's why I don't want to speak against cats, and I told you the reason I don't like them is because I'm allergic to them. But maybe I would like them if I wasn't allergic to them. But I don't want to speak against cat lovers, because I know you guys love your cats, and dog lovers, my God. In Jupiter, Florida, there's a place called Dog Beach, and everyone brings their dogs there. And I've never seen so many people with how much they love their dogs, man. It's unbelievable. I remember there was this one brown dog, and he was young. He was like a little older than a puppy, but he was like attacking all the other dogs. And this woman walks up to me, and the dog's right by her, and I said, oh, that brown dog is a little bit aggressive. And she was like, it was her dog. She was like so insulted. He's not aggressive. He's young. He's just a puppy. He's learning. She gave me about, I thought it was like the mother of a little boy, you know. She gave me about 15 different reasons why he wasn't aggressive. And I said, he was attacking all the other. That's not what he was doing. He was just playing. He was trying to get their attention. All right, I go, lady. All right, go ahead. Please. I'm not, I'm not a veterinarian. My observations were he was little bit aggressive. I'm not a dog doctor, you know. So I'm sorry I insulted you and your dog, but it was crazy, you know. I learned my lesson. You can't say anything against someone's kids, their cat, or their dog, right? You got to just keep your mouth shut and say, oh, what a beautiful dog. What's his name? You know. So I learned my lesson. Carmelita! I missed it. No notification. Going to rewind and watch on replay. Sorry, Bill. Hope you have a great afternoon. Carmelita, so good to see you. Here I am with my pool behind me. It's a beautiful day, you know. I'm supposed to be going out to Amagansett on Saturday. That's right, the town right before Montauk. It's beautiful. And I'm going to go out there just for one night. I haven't been out to Montauk since probably a couple of years. Martha Miner, in my opinion, you can't trust cats. Dogs, on the other hand, are loyal and would... We're going to start a dog-cat war in the chat, so I'm not going to join this dog and cat war. But Carmelita is a beautiful name. I always tell her that. Carmelita, dance a little louder. Rosalita, take me by my side. I know I substituted Carmelita for Rosalita, but that's the Bruce Springsteen song, right? Which I don't know all the words to, but Carmelita is a beautiful name. Little Carmen, right? Little Carmel. Little Carmen. Carmelita. I love it. So Robert K. had family reunion in Montauk, and I saw when Jaws movie came out, lots of shark boats running. 1975. That's the year I graduated high school. 2 more years. 2025 is going to be my 50th high school reunion. Can you believe that? 50 years out of high school. Wow. You always remember certain dates. High school, 1975. I swore in on the police department, 1/21, 1985. So, wow, that's a long time ago, huh? So this January would be 40 years. I don't think anyone, I can't say for sure, but for someone to still be on the job from my class, they would have had to come on the job at 20 years old, which was possible when I was appointed. So I would be amazed to know if there's anyone from the class, the NYPD class of January 21st, 1985, still on the NYPD. A detective, Charlie Freitag, that I worked with in the 2-3 squad, and now he's in Manhattan North Homicide Squad. He just celebrated his 40-year anniversary yesterday. 40 years on the NYPD. And I'm always like, Charlie, retire, man. You play, you know, they call it pension roulette. You got 40 years, and if something bad happens, you could lose everything, you know. But 40 years, that's a long time, right, to be on one job. His pension's going to be sick when he gets out, you know. Yeah, 40 years, Karen Cole, 40 years on one job. So if you came on when you were 20, he'd be 60 years old. And the NYPD, at 63, you age out. So you have to retire at the age of 63. Delia Santana, we could afford land in Montauk then. Montauk is ridiculously expensive. It's not even in the realm of anyone that is in upper middle class. It's in the realm of millionaires. Land, houses out there, shacks can go for 600, 800,000 for a piece of a shack, literally a shack, you know. Barbara George, Bill, can I come over for a swim? Feels like 100 here in North Carolina. Well, it's supposed to be a big heat wave, right? Lucy on the go, billionaires. Guys, it's 49 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm going to start my outro here and saying goodbye. So tomorrow night, 6 p.m., Bobby Chacon and Mike Geary will join me. And we're going to talk about, of course, the Gilgo Beach case, Rex Heuermann. And thank all you guys today. The guys who made both my shows today, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.